Hey there guys, welcome back to another Moveset Guide Analysis video. Today, we have the second Charizard brother, Mega-Charizard X. This boy is powerful, this boy's a beast, the fire dragon type. Let's get right into this shit now. Just a quick go over this. Everybody knows that Zard X likes to Dragon Dance up. And then Flare Blitz, Dragon Claw, and Earthquake. That's pretty standard. You can go Jolly or Adamant. I much more prefer having the speed, than I do having the attack. I think depending on the team, whether or not you have something to slow them down, like say Thunder Wave, maybe you have Sticky Web, then Adamant is good, but I'm more of a fan of Jolly just based on my own personal preferences. The only thing that I want to point out here is that you could also run Roost. Now, why? It's simply because Zard X's main flaw, especially in this current meta, my apologies, it doesn't really have a chance to set up, and if it does, it's forced out by stuff like Landorus. It's forced out by stuff like potential Hippowdon, forced out by Tyranitar, Sandrill, Garchomp on top of that. Don't know why Gengar was clear, but that doesn't really help it. So Roost, just to hit hard with a Flare Blitz, a Dragon Claw, or an Earthquake, and then just Roost up. I think that is a nice option if you really want to go for something powerful and you just want to be able to nuke something and then switch out. That's perfect. That's beautiful. But otherwise, Dragon Dance is the set that you may want to go for. But moving on to Bulky DD Zard X. Now let me tell you, friends. Let me tell you. I built this set a while ago, and if we look at our calcs here, if this will, god damn it, if this will work for me, this is Bulky DD Zard X. Now, if we look at Defensive Celesteela, the 72 attack plus Tough Claws will always OHKO after Stealth Rock. And that's something I wanted because, especially since I may just want to click instead of setting up, going for this Flare Blitz is perfect. Because I know I get the KO no matter what, and unless Celesteela is protecting, it dies to a Flare Blitz. That's all I can really say. I would say, realistically, this is not a good set. Like, if we're looking at, say, just as another one, Landorus, defensive. Why you always take a defensive Earthquake? That's a -1 Flare Blitz. Shit, if I get rid of Intimidate. This is a neutral Flare Blitz. Now, obviously, you could say, oh, well, like, what about if you get to +1 and everything like that, blah, 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 blah. But after rocks, it's always going to 2-hit KO. Obviously, if you get rid of the bulk, it does a shit ton more. But in that same vein, you die. So, there's such a difference in the job of this set. This set is meant to be a little bulkier, hit a little bit harder, because again, we look at it +1, you're always getting the KO with the Flare Blitz, which is great, but you also do have to keep in mind that you need to be at +1 speed. Now, this speed will always let you outspeed Tapu Lele, unless it's Choice Scarfed. If it hits you, you'll know it's Choice Scarfed. You never go down to a Psychic, Terrain Boosted Psychic from a Choice Scarf, but Choice Specs, you will die. You will just go down. So, keep all that in mind. Though I always wanted this to Flare Blitz to always Oko Tapu Lele, no matter what, because if this thing isn't scarfed, it needs to die because it's such a disgusting mon to play against. But that's my point. This set itself, I don't necessarily like. I built this meaning for it to be a lot bulkier. The problem was I could make it a lot bulkier and make it Dragon Dance, but it wasn't gonna be what I wanted it to do, right? And another option here is to go down to 304 speed to outspeed Unburdened boosted Hawlucha at +2, which means, yeah, you know, you have some extra EVs to play around with, you know, maybe put them into defense, maybe put them into Spit Def, you know, find your little niche there. But I feel like, especially since, you know, Specs Tapu Lele, I think will get a lot better because it has very few switch-ins. Celesteela may be one of them, but it does not take them well. And that's just kind of where I see things. I think that this set is interesting. It's a nice way to be a bit bulkier, but the problem always will be, this is what you get. The 72 attack, and again, you can even say, oh, well, maybe I don't want a Jolly Nature, you know, maybe I want to go, let's say, 240 speed. I outspeed Outland Bisharp. Cool. Put a lot more into Spit Def, put a lot more into defense, you know, that's cool and everything like that. But I personally don't think that's necessarily the best of ideas. And I'll get into why when we look at Bulky Zard X. Now, this is why I think Bulky Zard X is better than the Bulky Dragon Dance. For one, I'm able to go up bulkier. Sure, with the Bulky Dragon Dance set, you know, I could get rid of all this speed. I could put a lot more into Spit Def here. Because let's take a look at the Zard X here, if I could type today. Looking at Bulky Zard X here. Why do I feel like that changed a lot? That's because it did. Okay, I'm not crazy. This is how much a Psychic and Psychic Terrain does from Specs Tapu Lele. It does a lot, but you have the chance to live. I really think that's important to want to live that, just because really you may want it to live that. In all honesty, like, you would want it to live, say, a Psychic. The problem is you can't really give up too many EVs. You can't really give up the speed. You can't give up the attack. Because even if you did, it's only 24, which would put you at what, 184. And yeah, it's getting you a lot closer, but whoa. It's not gonna do the same. But that's in Psychic Terrain, and especially when it may dissipate or whatever, it doesn't do a lot. If we really do look at just getting rid of the choice specs and putting out a choice scarf, Moonblast number 2 KOs, and that's just something that's really nice. This set I like. I like this set a lot. If we look at Celesteela again defensively, like, it has a chance after Rocks to KO, but again, it's not always going to be that good. Like 69% chance, but like, we all know that it's not always going to happen, because rolls and everything like that could screw you over, and that's just where I personally sit. The other nice thing is Landorus, offensive. This is an adamant Landorus, keep in mind. This is adamant nature. That's an Earthquake, and you can burn it. And I think that's really clutch, because the moment you burn it, it becomes useless to your opponent. Same thing goes For Bandit Zygarde, you have a chance to live it. You have a chance to live it. Let's say you get rid of the choice band. Let's say they're running more like a different set out of the choice band. This is how much 1,000 arrows does, and if it's burnt, you're basically able to stall it out. It's beautiful. This set itself, I really like, especially considering some of the things that you can see. Bisharp is huge, and I am recording this after the Sun and Moon update, or the Ultra Sun, Ultra Moon update for Showdown, so keep this in mind. Burning things like Extra Drill upon potential switch-ins, if it's switched into it for whatever reason. Same goes for stuff like Garchomp, Gyarados, Hawlucha, Kartana, Kyurem, again Landorus, Megalophony, Dusk Lycanroc if it stays OU or it stays good. My point is, it's still disgusting. And even if we look at Shift Gear Magearna, that's how much Flare Blitz does to that. And if we make this, if we look at Assault Vest, it's still KO'd. So let's say, you know, they're like, oh my god, yes, I got a free kill. Well, you really don't. And even if this is, say, max HP, it still does. So, it's really nice, in my opinion. This is why I like Bulkyzard X. If you find the right partners, it definitely, 100%, I think, can put in a shitload of work. Because keep in mind, that's an Adamant Acrobatics. That's no item. And if they're trying to set up the +2 and you burn their ass, well, let's just say it's going back down. High jump kick, never 2-hit KOs, which is amazing, right? Because you can Will-O-Wisp it, you can roost, and then click Flare Blitz and pick up a KO. There are lovely ways of busting through some disgusting Pokemon that you just don't want to have to deal with. Even if we want to look at the idea of Tangrowth, the more physically defensive set. Yeah, you're not. Yeah, it's not going down at first, but one, you can burn it and have it take some residual damage in and out. But Flare Blitz is also picking up a KO, is picking up a 2-hit KO. And if they miss their Sleep Powder, they're screwed. And really, they aren't hitting you for very much at all. So, and again, we look at something like, say, the Assault Vest set. Well, after Rocks, it's got a chance to KO. And yeah, you could say, oh, but like, why not just like boost the attack a little bit more and everything? There's no need. Because of the Tough Claws boost, it makes Bulkyzard X, I think, really good. Now, with that being said, with all of that being said, the last calc I want to show is Mega Venusaur. Defensively, after Rocks, it's always a 2-hit KO, and you will always outspeed standard defensive Mega Venusaur. Keep that in mind. 2-hit KO after Stealth Rocks through thick fat. The other nice thing too is if we go back to the whole 72, the 72 thing, you're always guaranteed to pick up a KO after Stealth Rocks as well. Again, you can invest more. Really not my point though. I like this set so much because of how much it can do to such a metagame that is really reliant on, in a lot of ways, setting up. I think that's just something I personally didn't realize until recently. This meta is almost heavily reliant on setting up, like, as an example, Mega Tyranitar wanting to go for Dragon Dances, and you could say, oh, well, like, don't you want to outspeed Mega T-Tar, like a max speed gel in Mega T-Tar, which is hitting 265. No, I don't think that's necessary at all, because if it's going to set up, it's got the chance to be burnt. And realistically, it's not going to be able to touch me at that point anymore. Because what is Mega T-Tar running? It's running Ice Punch for Zygarde, Landorus T, Garchomp, Zapdos. You got Stone Edge as well for, again, like Zapdos, Volcarona as well. And then you got Fire Punch for stuff like Celesteela to get a guaranteed hit off onto it. So again, I just don't see much of a reason to say, yeah, let's just push you in the right direction there, of saying, oh, well, like, don't you want enough speed for that? No, because then again, I'm losing it on so much bulk. It's just not worth it. And, you know, if you think that, you know what, that extra speed is worth it, then go for it, honestly. But you're losing out on a lot of bulk that I think is honestly 100% necessary. Now, that being said, just looking at some other options, you do have SD Flame Charge. That could be a very interesting set. Flame charging up, SDing, and everything like that. Getting yourself nice and fast. Dragon Tail is an interesting option if you would like to just kind of force your opponent into spikes and stealth rocks, or even if you have toxic spikes up, forcing them into that. Now, Defog is an interesting one because Pokemon Ultra Sun and Ultra Moon have been released today. I actually got the games in the mail today. I was really excited to play them. But Defog has come back as a tutor, and you could put this on. I don't think it's very good. I think it's a super risky choice. But if you absolutely needed hazard removal, you could. Not that it's a great option, but it is another option if you absolutely felt necessary. Now, we're going to go over just some checks and counters real quick. Since I really can't say anything new, like anything about like I don't know how to pronounce this. I've been calling it Blacephalon for a while, like Stakataka, Dusk Lycanroc, and Naganandel. I have no idea. I have no idea what these new Pokemon are gonna do and how they're gonna do it. So I'm gonna leave them out. The biggest check to Zard X, whether it be bulky or Zard X in general, Tapu Fini. It's so good. It's so good because, one, you've got obviously Scald to burn thing, to just whittle it down. You have also Nature's Madness. I think this is something that's super underrated. Putting any of these sets at a half health, and especially when you're considering, oh shit, well I don't have, oh man, maybe I did want Roost. You don't have it, and especially since it's eating up the stabs of Tapu Fini. It's gonna eat an Earthquake any day of the week, and especially since it blocks Will-O-Wisp to anything grounded. It puts you at such a huge disadvantage. It's kind of gross. It's kind of gross. That is one of the biggest checks to me for Zard X. It is Tapu Fini. Really, the next one would easily have to be Mega-Gyarados to me. And that's to me. Hear me out. Especially when before you Mega Evolve, you have the Intimidate. So let's say you're going up against a straight Dragon Dance set. Great. So, straight Dragon Dance, we'll take this as the example here, against Gyara. Mega Gyarados. Flare Blitz and Dragon Claw, it's eating him up. Like hell, not even +6 Dragon Claw KOs. But a Waterfall does. That's my point. It walls so incredibly much Mega Gyarados, and yeah, Mega Charizard, and you can say, oh yeah, but like, you know, I always have I could always burn it, but you have to burn it first of all, and if you're not running bulky Zard X, then what are you running? Are you running straight offense? Then, well, oh, even then, let's pop in that Earthquake real quick. Oh ho ho ho, doing just a bit more, but even then, Waterfall gets the KO. And I think, and personally, I think that Mega Gyarados is a very interesting check. You've even got stuff like Clefable that can take hits and potentially paralyze it. You have your checks. Land OT, if it's defensive, is gonna eat a hit no matter what, especially since you're putting it at -1. So resetting the attack or lowering it a bit. Mega Lopunny, I think Mega Lopunny is very underrated, especially when taking a look at it. You're always faster. Like, let's say you're clicking Fake Out's doing 28% plus a return. That's a very, very, basically a guaranteed knockout. And oh, well, Flare Blitz isn't KOing. Oh, well, Dragon Claw and Earthquake aren't KOing. Well, exactly. I think that it's a very underrated Pokemon when it comes to actually hitting it with anything. Personally, I just see it in that way. And even then, you've got stuff like a Mimikyu with the disguise and everything like that. With even, like, say, a red card. Red card forces Mega-Charizard X out as you SD up. It's got its checks. Rain is a big check to it because Flare Blitz won't be doing as much. Toxapex is a check because it can toxic you. It can haze, basically forcing you into a what do I do? Toxapex needs to be gone or severely weakened for me to be able to do anything. Same goes for Tyranitar, right? Like, it's going to be able to eat a Flare Blitz. It's going to be able to eat a Dragon Claw or an Earthquake and then fire off a Banded Stone Edge, or even get the +1 itself and fire off a +1 Stone Edge and get the KO. And then again, Zygarde, just like straight offensive wise, it dies to a banded, an adamant banded 1,000 Arrows, which does not help its case. Even the likes of, say, Skarmory with counter, even potentially Chansey with counter. You know, you can always start picking stuff off, and this is Flare Blitz to max HP, max defense Chansey. And even if you get to once you get to +6, that's when you're starting to pick up those KOs, +5. Like, you gotta get very high up, and especially since it's, you know, Toxic you, Seismic Toss, and just start stalling with Soft Boil, it's so tough. Like, in this current metagame, it's very tough, I think, for Mega-Charizard X to really do what it wants to do, which is why I think Roost is a very good option on just a straight offensive set. Just going and punching a hole through something, like a Landorus, like a Chansey, and then switching out, maybe roosting off some damage, going for another attack. Team options, though, you need wall breakers. You need something that's going to be able to break stuff like Chansey. It's going to be able to break stuff like Clefable. 110% of the time. That's not that it's very hard to do or anything like that. It's just you're gonna run into a lot of trouble depending on, one, the Clefable, and two, the Chansey set. I think the best way to really cripple both Clefable and Chansey is through a Trick Scarf Lottie. Trick Scarf. Bam. Trick the Chansey. Goodbye. And then you're able to just start Psyshocking it. You're able to start Dracoing. Basically crippling whatever, you know. Get, like, say, tricking the Eviolite onto the Clefable. It has ways of doing stuff like that. Ferrothorn to set up hazards, Stealth Rocks, Spikes, all that wonderful stuff. Toxapex of your own, setting up the Toxic Spikes, having Haze, you know, getting scald burns, forcing switches, really solid. And I think the last month, I would personally pair it, since you really do need a ground resist. I would pair it with Lando T, 100%, because again, it can get up Stealth Rocks. You can have it be a Rocky and Z set. You could even have it with All Out Pummeling. Oh, whoa, getting a little ahead of myself there. Like with Titanium Z, going for that Z superpower. I actually don't know how much that would do. Let's actually calc that right now. But going for like that superpower. Oh wow, that does a lot. Nice. But going for like, say, a Z superpower, right? Like an all out pummeling, and just picking up a KO versus Chansey. Even going for say Supersonic Sky Strike versus Clefable. It's got ways of putting in work. Even a nice pivot mon like Assault Vest Magirna, Assault Vest Magnezone, Mew to keep hazards off with Defog. Really the likes of even maybe Zygarde, Zapdos. I think if you really give Charizard X the support it needs, which is a strong wall breaker, maybe even a stall breaker, to break through stall very effectively, it would really help it out. But with that being said, guys, I do hope you all enjoyed. If you did, please leave a like on the video. It really does help the channel grow. And it's been great to see the channel grow over the last, how long now? six months now? Something like that. It's been really nice to see the channel grow this much, and I'm really happy about it. So again, leave a like on the video if you did enjoy it. Comment down below as to what your favorite Charizard X sets are. And that's about it, guys. Hope you all enjoyed. I'll catch you all later. Peace out.
Let's go.